Welcome everybody to the Rally Cry podcast. I am your host, Angel Reels, and I'm excited that you're here. If you're listening, if you're driving, if you're cleaning, whatever it is, or even if you're watching us on YouTube, whatever it is, I'm just so grateful. It's 2025, we're going into New Year strong. Real strong. If you guys don't know, I had the opportunity to sell 100 enough said card games to the Springfield Public Schools. Shout out to Dr. Dana and also Miss Yolanda. I am so grateful, and we're just on up from here. And I'm really grateful for today, and you might already know because the way that I come off, and we have a guest today. So yes, we're gonna still have guests come on, and this one is a special guest. I feel like I say he's an expert, but we had a blast when we first met. And shout outs to Tatiana when we was at the UMass event. And when we were just talking, it just happened to be one of those conversations. It just kept going and kept going, and we had the same values aligned. And Jonathan Crawley, thank you for being here. Did I say your last name right?
Yep, Crowley. Yep.
Crowley. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm so honored for you being here. How are you today?
Thank you, Angel. Yeah, it's great to be here, and I'm excited to be here and have a conversation with you. It's fantastic. Thank you.
So Jonathan here, I'm gonna put him on the spot, but like I say he's an expert because he's all about meditation. And if I can remember, you said you've been doing meditation for about 14 years or so?
Actually, since I was about 21, so about 40 years actually. 40
Wow.
Years. Yeah.
So you've been doing it for 40 years?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That I went from 17. We going to 40. We're like, no, we on up.
I'm old.
Well, hey, you look great, man. I want to start with like what started you with meditation, and was there something in your life that changed and pivoted you into that? Who introduced you to that?
Yeah. So I practice a form of meditation called mindfulness. It's a meditation that was taught by the Buddha, and it's a huge, practice. A lot of different ways to practice. And when I was young, I was kind of a seeker. And I was interested in the mind. I was interested in what was inside my mind. And then that kind of fast forwarded when my father passed away when I was 20, so quite young. And it was kind of like, it was like just being in touch with that mystery. I kind of needed to understand more about life, more about death,
right?
And to deal with my suffering. Actually, it was in some ways a lot of suffering that had brought me to meditation. And I actually, I see that with a lot of people. That they, in their struggle to kind of understand themselves or to deal with setbacks, they often turn to meditation to find some answers within. And so that was a lot about my story too.
Wow, I love that. No, it's crazy because, even when it comes to me thinking about meditating, and when I started, it's been maybe 2 years now, I got into meditation just so that not only that I'm fascinated by the mind as well, but also the fact that I just want to be able to go within and see what is it that is hurting me? What is something that I can do to heal? Because I don't want to keep suffering. I don't want to keep feeling this pain.
Yeah.
And I think there's also a big misconception that people have when it comes to meditation. I love it.
Yeah.
Before we even go even further, before we get carried away, see, I was already intrigued by the whole thing. That's how guys, I'm excited right now about this because meditation is something that we need to understand. But before we go even further, I want to break the ice with you, even though I feel like we already did.
Okay.
So we're going to play the Enough Said card game, communication card game that I created.
Yeah.
And then, of course, if you guys have not got your Enough Said card game, we are back in stock. Yes, there was a moment where we're sold out, but we back and we on better. So this is a new look, and there's also a how to play card. So if you haven't got yours yet, you can do so in the link below, and you can also, buy it on Instagram. All the links is everywhere. You can't miss it. So I'm gonna shuffle my hand, spread it out on my hands here, and I just want you to pick a card. This is destiny.
Any card?
It's destiny. I'm destining you.
Okay. Here we go.
It's only destiny. What does it say?
That's great. If your life were a movie, what would the title be?
Tell me, please. Please.
Great. Well, I'm going to say that the movie because I'm involved with this documentary. I'm going to say Dhamma Brothers.
Okay.
That would be the title.
Yes.
Dhamma Brothers.
Yes. I love it. Yes. I'm gonna say if my life was a movie right now, it would definitely be just feeling great because that's how I feel right now.
All right.
Dhamma Brothers. I want to go right into that. That's a whole documentary. And that's why I say, you know, not only he's an expert, I'm sorry, he's also famous. He has a whole documentary. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna make sure I put that down in the description. It's a whole documentary about how Jonathan here was able to be a part of a whole project bringing meditation to prison, right?
Right.
Tell me more about that. How did you get involved in that?
Yeah, it was it was a long road. Well, in some ways it was just a lot about my journey in life, which was like I said, I got involved with meditation primarily starting to take retreats, and I took a small retreat. I started out with like a small retreat that was like 3 or 4 days long over a weekend when I was 20, and then when I was 21, I did a 10-day retreat, and they were so powerful. They were so meaningful for me. I feel like I went to such a depth inside myself that I wanted to keep doing that. And the interesting thing was, is I was kind of in my college years then, and so I needed to kind of also integrate, what I was learning on the retreats with my college studies.
Right.
And so, but I ended up really gravitating to more and more time to retreats because I saw them actually as like a form of higher education, actually.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was a profound education for me. And it was kind of something, it was really what I was in some ways looking for. I actually consider myself not an expert. I feel like I'm a beginner still, even though I've been meditating for 40 years. But yeah, and I was really grateful because I landed with an organization and a tradition of meditation that was pretty remarkable in the sense that they offered these 10-day retreats to the public at no charge on a donation basis.
Right.
So, and I became a volunteer there. I, began just to get involved with the organization, not just in this country, but in other countries. I went to India to train. I eventually went to the small country of Myanmar. And yeah, it was... But one thing, it was interesting because I was thinking about this moment because at some point when I was volunteering, I was thinking, well, this is fantastic. Like they've leveled the, there's so many retreat places out there, spiritual retreat places that charge so much money, right? And then that becomes kind of a barrier, obviously, but also a thing, like, in terms of like who's spiritual and who's not spiritual. But what I loved about this tradition was that they weren't charging and anybody could come. And so they really leveled the playing field. But part of me was still asking, okay, well, this is fantastic, but who doesn't get to practice this? Who still doesn't have access in some ways? And that was kind of a guiding question. And while I was volunteering, we were getting letters from inmates who were incarcerated, asking for resources, asking for instruction, asking for books. And I began to correspond with them, and I started thinking, oh, this is who doesn't have access to the privilege that I had to go on a retreat. And so I started to do some outreach. I started to like cold call, correctional facilities and say, hey, this program could have a serious impact on your residents. And so I did that for probably about like 12 years.
Wow.
In the New England area.
Wow.
And then out of the blue, I got a call from a volunteer who was working in the Alabama system, and she said, at that point there was another film that had come out about our courses in correctional facilities in India, and she said, I've seen this film, I showed it to the guys down in Alabama, and they want this program there.
Nice.
And yeah, so that's kind of how it kind of got started. And so we started that program in 2002. I taught the last program there in 2020, just before COVID.
Yeah.
And so it ran there for about 18 years. And I would say it was definitely one of the most meaningful experiences of my life to work there and to work with the men there. Yeah. And I'm still in contact with some of the guys there, and it was a profound experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. It's just a wholesome experience. I can only imagine, especially being there and being able to show all the guys that were there. Because as I was watching the documentary myself, at first people were doubting it. People were like, what is breathing? What is meditation? And like almost being scared about it at the same time, because they're already in confinement and they don't know what they're to expect. So to see someone that they don't know, come on and saying that you're gonna help me, they're gonna be like, what do you mean you can help me?
Right.
So how was that for you? Was there people there that kind of doubted you a little bit when you was coming in and you was teaching them meditation?
Oh, for sure. And let me just be very clear. It was a very racial situation I was going into, and I'm going in there as a white male, right?
Right.
And so a lot of trust had to be built, and I would say at that point in my kind of journey, I was definitely more racially naive than I am now. But what was striking to me was that once we were connecting with the guys, and once the retreat started, they went through a whole transformation process, and they kind of that kind of initial hesitation or mistrust, partly because we were serving them, like we were actually. So we created this like bubble inside the facility where they slept separately from the general population. They ate separately. They had a separate yard, and then they had the space to meditate. So not only would we meditate with them and we're providing instruction, but we were also feeding them. We were also serving, like we were like cleaning up after them. We were doing everything so that all they had to do all day long was just meditate. And when they saw that, I think, these folks from the outside, from the free world, to come in and serve them so that they essentially could be kind of monks, right,
Yeah.
for those 10 days, and give them the space that, let's face it, correctional facilities they're not quiet places. They're busy, they're and this one was considered at that time, to be really kind of the end of the line in Alabama. It was the most maximum security facility. When I went in there, I'm dating myself, I'm sure, but it was kind of like seeing Shawshank Redemption, like in reality,
Right.
So yeah, so it was really like going into a hellhole and bringing the light of awareness, so that people could go inside and really face, their demons and come to peace about who they are, whatever their circumstances were that brought them there, even if and we did our first course for 20, and all of them made it right through the whole retreat. It was
Wow.
It was amazing.
Yeah. I just love the fact that, being able to give them that space and them seeing it as role modeling, and the act of giving is such a thing that is overlooked at times. I think so much we think that giving is taken away from us. But if you could just look at giving as just as giving, and it's actually more of like uplifting someone, empowering someone, I feel like more of us would be able to do that.
Yeah.
So the fact that you guys were showing that, hey, we're cleaning, we're giving you space so you can focus on this, it made them more empathize. It made them more like, wow, okay, I feel so honored, I feel so grateful. And I always say when you are someone that are grateful, you're just around people that make you feel great.
Yeah.
And in that moment, you were making them feel good. You made them feel humane. Because a lot of times, I can only imagine, like when people are in jail and they're incarcerated, some people are there for things that they were accused of. They might have been in the wrong place, wrong time.
Right.
And they're struggling with that fact. They're resenting for that fact. So I love that. If mind you guys, you gotta watch this documentary, and it's an hour long, but it's worth it. And it's just to have the understanding about how well meditation does and how much it gives a space for you. Like we're so conflicted about the things that we go in life and stuff like that. But if you take a moment just to appreciate yourself and just be and feel you, rather than worrying about what's going on the outside, it gives you a moment to escape.
Yeah.
It's a creative moment so that you can understand yourself, love yourself, and just be like, you know what? I know this is where I'm at, but at least this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
At least I'm here and I'm alive and I get a chance for something. And I know that could probably even be hard in the prison.
Especially, I would say, because
Yeah.
it's so hard for them to have self-compassion.
Right.
And if they were involved with, a harmful activity, then that's even harder, right? Because they, that becomes etched in some ways. And then, but the whole practice is about bringing awareness to what led to those incidences, right? And oftentimes, like for all of us, we're constantly reacting. You know, if it's pleasant, we want more of it. If it's unpleasant, we want to get rid of it. And that can get, you know, magnified, right? Mm-hmm. Until you're doing something harmful to someone to either get something or get rid of something, right? Mm-hmm. And so, but to be able to go back and to review that and to review what's going on inside you that led to that and to come to a place of acceptance, like, okay, yeah, I made a mistake, but I am not only that mistake, right? I'm much more than that, right? And to bring a level of compassion to who you are and to understand yourself, to understand, well, okay, this is what, you know, makes me react, you know? Right. And so, and then to gain more self-mastery over, you know, over that.
Right. Yeah, no, I think when it comes to trying to, you know, master yourself, right? Understand yourself. It's one of those things that you even go back to, like that self-maintenance, right? You've been saying you've been doing it for 40 years now. Is it something that you do every day? Is it something that you feel like is a requirement now? And how do you feel that you've been doing it for so long?
Yeah, so it took me a long time to develop a daily practice. I took probably, many retreats, you know, before I could actually, in some ways, understand that by integrating it every day was going to make the biggest transformation of my life, right? And even though it's powerful to do retreats, it's equally as important and equally as important to have a daily practice that anchors you, that grounds you, that kind of sets, you know, the tone of your day. But it took a while. Yeah, it took a while. And, you know, we were able to give that to the guys inside because all of us as volunteers who went in, we were part of a tradition where that had been provided for us. So when I went on my first retreat, there were these volunteers. I didn't know who they were, and they gave their all their time for free. The teachers, they don't in this tradition. I'll just say it's the tradition of S.N. Goenka, and it's called Vipassana.
Yes.
And that tradition is amazing because it's run on donation and also the donation of service, right? So, yeah, I mean, as I took more and more retreats, I started saying, wait a second, there are these volunteers I don't even know, and they're giving their time so that I can meditate for, you know, 10 plus hours a day, right? Right. And that was such a gift, right? And it was almost anonymous. But as I got involved with the organization, I was like, oh, okay. And then I wanted to do that. And then for me, I needed to bring it out into society more. Like, you know, it was great. This organization is worldwide. There's retreat centers all over the world in almost every continent, about 200 of them. And as you know, we have one right here in Western Mass.
Right there from Sherburne Falls.
Yep.
Yeah, we were actually just talking about it. That's the same meditation retreat that I
that
first
you
went.
did. Yeah,
right? And as I've mentioned and shared plenty of times on the podcast before, it was a very rigorous thing. You know, it's one of those things that you have to really commit to yourself and do. Like when I first was going, I was like, I'm kind of scared. Like, I don't know. Like, it was third day in. I was like, all right, can I go home now? Like, it was scary because like being able to be by yourself with only yourself, no books. Nothing to read, right? No phone, no nothing, right? Like nothing to draw, nothing to write, just you. Yeah. There was moments where I cried, you know what I mean? Just not only about whatever it is that may have been hurting me, but more about just how grateful I was to be there. The fact that I put myself in that position to just learn about myself and love myself and understand what is hurting me. Like you go into a space and you'll be surprised on the things that you think about because all you can do is think.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of things that kind of led me back to my childhood memories and how things came to me. And I'm like, wow, I remember that. And that's because I was given that space. Yeah. And by the food there was great. The food was great. I was like, oh, this is good. Like, you know, by the way, all they give there too is there's no juice. It's just milk. Like everything is clean. Everything is organic. Yeah. So it also goes back to like what you eat is important and having that space for that.
I also, like you, I was also scared on my first retreat. Oh my God. And by, I think the 5th day, I was bawling.
Really?
Oh yeah. I was like, and actually, to be honest, I was also like, get me out of here. Like it's too, like, you know, and it's funny because I think I ran up against some other religious conditioning. I was raised Christian and I kind of thought, oh, well, someone else is going to do this work for me. But the retreat was asking me to be aware and alert every moment, you know, and be aware of my breath or be aware of the changing nature of my body.
Yeah.
Every moment, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like being, it's like being asked or tasked to be on.
Yeah.
Every moment. I was like, I can't do that, right?
Yeah.
I can't do that. And I was actually crying because I couldn't do it. Like, I'm like, this is too much, you know?
Yeah. It's overwhelming.
And then I started like doing math. I was like, I was counting the hours and the minutes,
Like,
I know. But I was like doing mathematical computations, like, oh, this is going to be over in 2,000, minutes. But I got through that first one, and I thought, okay, I got that out of my system. I'm never going to do that again.
Right.
I realized literally what I said to myself. And it was about a year and a half later, after I'd gone on a college program, and I was like, I need that again, And it was just like, it was kind of like stepping into the ocean, stepping into the water. It just got deeper and deeper and deeper. And and then I just started to see so much benefit in me. And then I was, for me, I needed to ask myself, all right, who in society is not able to receive this?
Right.
And that led to going into correctional facilities. I actually went into about three different correctional facilities in the country. So we brought the program into a total of 5 correctional facilities have had the program.
Wow. That is so awesome.
Yeah.
And to be a part of that, I can only imagine how wholesome that feels. It's like, this the act of giving, right?
Yeah.
When you can give, it makes you feel great inside.
Yeah.
And that's what gets you so enlightened and just so lost for words almost, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, wow, this is really what life is about.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask too, because there's so many people here, they hear meditation and you hear it in hospitals and stuff like that, but I feel like they have a bad name to it, right? They talk about it so much as just the breathing and all these other things. And as we also may understand, there's different types of meditation.
Yes.
The meditations that you've done, Vipassana has the Apipana meditation, which is more the observing and understand the equanimity, things come and go, right? The same way that our body does sensations and stuff.
Yeah.
When you've done meditation for so long, what are some things that unlocked for you or that has helped you to understand more of yourself?
Wow, that's a great question. I think it happens on so many different and subtle levels. Sometimes you're sitting in meditation and you may be there with like something you're kind of angry about, right? And you are kind of, boiling over in rehashing that event at a mental level, right? And meanwhile, emotionally, you're all riled up. Right, you're just like full of aversion. You've got that anger going, and you can feel you can literally feel the sensations of burning in that moment. And what I think was one of the most profound things was just taking ownership of that. Like it taught me to not see the external event as what's responsible for my reaction. I was like, well, wait a second. I'm the one reacting here. I'm the one boiling up here. I'm the one like stewing about somebody who, did something that, hurt me or got me, angry. And when I began to take that level of responsibility, I was like, oh, okay. And the practice taught me just to observe my sensations, just to observe the breath, which was now, agitated, but just by observing it all, and seeing the changing nature of both the breath and my sensations inside my body, it really helped me to take responsibility, to also to calm down, and then to actually have compassion for myself. Oh, look, I'm the one who I'm like the first victim of the suffering, right?
Right.
And then to realize, oh well, if I'm suffering like this, the person who I think did whatever or hurt me or said something, they must also be suffering, right?
Right.
And so that really was very profound for me, to kind of shift gears that way. There's a lot of different kinds of meditation out there.
Right.
These are called direct experience meditation, where you're directly experiencing, say, the breath or sensations. And since this period of time, I'm no longer with the Goenka tradition. I was a teacher there for a while. But I've switched gears now, and I feel like I'm kind of a new student again. I'm learning under another wonderful teacher whose name is Beth Upton. And and it's like, now I'm just actually focused a lot on kind of concentrating my mind, in definitely, in the present moment,
Of course.
but I'm just sort of focused on an object, my breath, and just trying to go deep with that. And I didn't realize how deep you can go with your breath. It's pretty amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And I know there might be people that could be driving or anything like that.
Yeah.
But for the people that can, I was wondering, could we do a quick meditation right here and show the people?
We could.
Yeah. I would love
Yeah.
to do that. I would
Okay.
you'll be the guide. You'll be the guide.
All right.
You do a quick 5-minute meditation and show
Okay.
people a little bit taste of what it's like.
Yeah.
And you may say you're not expert, but in my eyes, I would say you're the expert. I've been doing it for 2 years. You said 40. You beat me. Okay.
All right.
So I'm gonna close my eyes.
Yeah. So gently close your eyes, and if you're seated, just notice the weight of your body in your seat or perhaps on the floor. And begin to take your attention inside. Start to notice your breath, the natural breath, the normal breath, as it comes in, as it goes out. We're not trying to change the breath. We're not trying to regulate it, just observing it as it is. And notice the impulse of the mind to wander away. This is very normal, very natural. The mind will constantly wander away like a monkey mind. So gently, when you notice the mind has wandered, just gently bring it back to the breath. See if you can feel the touch of the breath as it comes in, either through your nostrils, or it's wintertime, so your nostrils may be blocked, so you can also, as you notice it coming through your mouth, the touch of the breath on your lips, or the touch of the breath on your nostrils as it comes in, as it goes out. Even just taking a few breaths like this throughout the day can make such a difference in your day. Just when we're with the breath, we are with the present moment. And we're with our being. We can bring acceptance to whatever is going on inside us. And from that place of acceptance, a place of loving kindness. Not just for ourselves, but for all beings. For all beings, human or non-human. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be liberated.
Love that.
Short and sweet.
Yes.
That was really short and sweet.
Yeah, no, I love it though, and I totally agree that when you take a moment just to slow down real quick, it changes everything.
It changes everything.
Yeah,
right?
so I even feel at peace, and it's
Yeah.
also good because, the guiding part and just hearing someone's voice and then speaking positive and being liberation and love and giving and just peace and observing, right? I think that's a big thing.
Well, meditation has become extremely commercialized, right?
Yes.
We see that, and I think that's what turns people off, right?
Yeah.
Is you feel the money of it more so than the heart of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I would definitely encourage folks to find kind of non-commercial ways of learning meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's just, taking a few moments to, come to the present moment, it can really shift your day and sometimes shift your life. Yeah. So it's powerful.
I feel like when I did the meditation for 10 days and I came out of it, I realized how much more sensitive I am to like emotions or even energy in people, and how much more I could connect with people. You know, it was a
Yes.
whole experience. It changed me completely.
Yeah.
And you know, they even say it in there, like it would be good to do it once a year. You know, do a whole 10-day or
Yep.
whichever it is that's comfortable to you, whatever it is that you may need.
Yeah.
Of course, you could do it at home, but being able to have a space where you can go do that. Anybody that's listening, it's for free. As we mentioned before, it's giving service. It's a nonprofit, and they do everything by donation. But I encourage you, if you really want to take that next step and you really want to invest into yourself, go to Shelburne Falls Vipassana Meditation Center. It's an experience, right? And of course, it might be hard, but who said that growing is easy, right? Who said growing and healing is not gonna hurt, right? You know, like who knows, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of it, not knowing about it.
Yeah. And I think, so there's a lot of meditation practices out there. Like I said, a lot of them are commercial. A lot of them just focus on sort of helping you adjust to life, right? But when you go on a retreat, you're going for something a little bit more deeper. And I don't mean to minimize the wonderful sort of byproducts of meditation, because you're right. It changes your relationships. It changes your outlook on life. It can address even, you know, anxiety. It can address depression. There's so many studies now, neurological studies, that show the benefits of meditation on our psychology, on our social relationships, and really, in some ways, our relationship to the wider world, right? And that's wonderful. When you go on retreat, it goes deeper than that, though. It goes for a process, really, of liberation. And that's kind of what really drove me to, I needed to come out of my suffering, and I needed to understand what those aspects were. And but it's been a process of integration, right? Like, I also needed to, you know, bring it into society and bring it to folks who couldn't necessarily access that. And that became also super important for me. Yeah.
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 I love that, man. I think, you know, there was another meditation that I was looking at. I think it's over by Cambridge, but that one you have to pay for. It's like $45 or something like that. I had to look into it a little bit more, but I've definitely used different forms of meditation. Like, of course, there's when you're just in silence. I've done one with sound healing while I meditate, just to, you know, bring the frequencies in.
Yep.
And I think that when it comes to meditation, people think that it should be a certain way, that they should feel a certain way. Like, some people that are in certain stages of their life, like if you're hurting or you're grieving, it might be a different experience than it is for someone that maybe grieving as much.
Yeah.
Because I've heard people say, "Oh, I don't know how to meditate."
Yeah.
And there's not really a right or wrong how to meditate. It's just learning how, like you said, to adjust yourself.
Right.
How to, you know, when your mind goes out, how to bring it back.
Yeah.
And just focus on your breath.
Yes.
And focusing on the breath, like you said, is focusing on the moment right now.
Yes.
I want to ask for, you know, the people that are listening, what would you say is that environment that someone needs to put in? Like, let's say they don't want to go to the meditation retreat and they might want to try it home first. What would you say? I know we did a little quick snippet, but as far as like mentally speaking, what would you say someone needs to do in order to start meditation? Do they need certain things, or is it kind of just sit down, close your eyes, and relax?
You know, I think what's important to get started is sort of a dedicated space and a dedicated amount of time where you're not going to be distracted. Now, it might be in your home if you can create that. Sometimes initially that's super hard. I knew when I first started, I'm not sure I could do that in my own space. It took a while for me to kind of carve that space, to carve even a physical space and carve the time and create that.
Right.
The other part I want to just mention is that, you know, so the practice that we were talking about was taught by the Buddha, but the Buddha taught 40 different objects of meditation in addition to the breath, right? Right. So he taught many different ways of training your mind, basically. And so, you know, I think it's really good that people experiment, right? Try also an object of meditation that is suitable to who you are. That could be a color, working with a color. It could be a breath. It could be a verbalization. Anything that can begin to start to focus your mind. And that will become more and more subtle. So to get started, sometimes taking a class is helpful because you're just a short class because you're going to be cut off from your sort of day-to-day activities, right? And that class, I think, can provide, a stepping stone. I think stepping stones to go deeper, it's like, you step into the ocean a little bit, right?
Right.
And it's like, okay, and then you step a little further, the ground's still there, you step a little further, and soon you can start to swim, and you can start to cross that ocean, right? But initially, you need to take those sort of small steps, I think, until you feel comfortable. Some folks can dive into a 10-day retreat. Most people, I would say, can't. That may be a tall order. But I've known a lot of people who did that. My own mom did that. I was like surprised.
Shout out to mom.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. Yeah. And so, so I think kind of understanding yourself and what is going to work for you is really important. So that could be a class. It could be a shorter retreat, maybe for start just even a day, even just to take a day. And nowadays there's so many different offerings. There's a 1 day, there's a 2 day, there's a 3 day, there's a 5 day, there's a 7 day, and you can build naturally, and you'll see your daily practice. You'll start to see, it's like going to the dentist, right? Like, you go to the dentist, you come out of the dentist from a cleaning, right? And you're like, I better brush much better now, right? And you want to brush much better, right? It's the same thing when you start to have these experiences in meditation that get deeper and deeper, you're like, I need to do that every day.
Right.
I need to have that experience or a thread of that experience every day. Now, day-to-day practice is not going to be like a retreat experience.
Right.
And so I just want to, just share that for your audience that it's going to be different. Day-to-day, you're kind of clearing off the superficial stuff, right? And, but that can make all the difference for your day.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree with that. I've experienced it.
Yeah, there you go.
Love it.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. And prior to we got on camera, there's a new segment that we got. And the segment, I got a couple words here, and it's called Rally Rapid Words. And I just came up with this.
Okay.
So I have 10 words here that I'm going to mention to you. And I just want you to mention the first word that comes to your mind. Okay. So I give you a word, you give me a word back, and we'll go through all 10. Okay. All right, you ready?
All right, yeah.
All right, so first word, family.
Yeah. Family, love.
Wellness.
Access.
Access. I like that. Communication.
Connection.
Love it here. Secure.
Ooh, first word came safety. Yeah, feeling safe.
Yeah,
feeling safe and trusted.
Spirituality.
Oh boy, that's spirituality. I'm also going to say connected. Feeling,
I like that.
Inner connection.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
Love.
Love. The first word that came to me was depth.
Depth.
Depth. Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Love is deep.
It sure is. Abundance.
Ooh. In gratitude.
Gratitude. I love it.
I was going to say enough, and then I was like, no, gratitude.
Right, okay. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Liberation.
Wow. Liberation. Purity of mind. I know that's more than one word, but
that works though. I'll take it.
But I also want to say and service. With that one.
I like that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yes, I like that last one. Yes.
Yeah.
Loyalty.
Loyalty. Wow. I'm gonna say, that's a good one. Loyalty. It's funny because it's almost it's a little bit kind of a loaded word these days. Loyalty, but I'm gonna say connection to the universe, connection to what drives the universe.
Okay.
Loyalty to me comes from the word law, but I look at law like universal laws, laws of compassion, laws, of kindness, laws of awareness, laws of purity, and so that's for me what I want to be loyal to.
I love it. And last word is leadership.
Oh, leadership! Wow, that's great. Well, it's interesting. You know, leadership comes from a word that means to. Oh no, I'm thinking about another word. Let me see. Leadership. Yeah, leadership is like. It's really about teaching.
Yeah?
That's my word. Teaching.
I love it.
Yeah.
Everybody, Jonathan Crawley, I'm so honored having you here. And this was a gem. Like everything you were saying was gems and gems. And I love that we were able to show people the meditation.
Yeah.
Just a little snippet of what meditation is like. And before we end this, I just want to give you two things.
Yeah.
So you sit right here. I'll go get it. Hold on.
Okay.
I got something for you.
Oh, okay.
What? I got.
I didn't
there's three
realize there were
colors.
door prizes.
There's three colors: white, black, and blue. Which one you want?
Ooh, blue.
Blue?
Definitely.
What size are you in shirts?
Oh my God. What? Medium.
Medium.
Yeah.
Blue medium. Hold up. I got something for you. Got this.
Man, this is
Yes.
a real surprise.
Here
Oh
you
my
go.
God.
Merry Christmas.
Oh my God.
Got you a shirt.
Oh my God. Is this the real? Can I open this?
Yes, open it.
Oh,
Open it.
man.
And then you got another little box right there.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, the rally cry. Yeah. Oh, it's like a license plate. I love it.
Yep.
That is great. Oh man, keep moving.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Yeah, man, that's for you.
Fantastic. Is that 24 for like 24 hours a day?
That was the year that was made.
Oh, 2024.
What? You
Yeah.
can say 24 hours in a day too.
Now wait, what's this? This
Go ahead.
Oh
like
my
Christmas
God. You got
all over again.
swag. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, my family's going to love this.
Yeah, and then there's another side to it. Boom.
Ooh, fantastic. You're covering all the bases here.
Yeah,
Breathe,
man.
relax, allow, focus, imagine, create. That is fantastic.
Yeah, man.
Those are great
Come on, bring it in.
messages. All
Bring
right.
it in. Bring it in.
That was great.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, me too,
Yeah.
man. You.
Well, hey, guys. It is an honor for this episode. I hope you got something from this. And, just make sure you stay tuned in. Make sure you follow us, The Rally Cries on Instagram. And make sure that you're subscribed because there's going to be a lot more amazing guests come on, such as Jonathan here. So I'm just so honored for today. And until next time, you be easy. Peace.